Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Women Talk with me, Nadia, Azmi. Today's topic is really interesting. It has something to do with some recent events that have been unfolding in a country that's not far from us, which is Australia. By now, I'm sure you've already heard about the social media ban for youths aged under the age of 16. Now, Malaysia is also looking into implementing the same thing, so I'm sure that many of us have certain feelings about that. There'll be challenges and there'll be some noises that we'll be hearing. But first, we want to talk about it with our two experts that are in the studio for Women Talk. So we are going to explore social media rush. Are we losing our youth? A very important and significant question. And whether Malaysia's move or plans to restrict social media access for those under 16 could help slow things down. So joining us today, we have Nadia Mahmood. Welcome, Nadia, to Women Talk. She is the Chief Executive Officer of the Communications and Multimedia Content Forum of Malaysia, which is an industry self-regulatory body focused on responsible digital content and media standards in Malaysia. We'll find out more about that after this. Next to Nadia is Melissa Campbell. Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
Welcome to Women Talk as well. She is an actor and also a parenting and digital well-being advocate. So yes, welcome to the both of you to Women Talk, talking about such a very pivotal and crucial topic that's very relevant today. So it's social media and our youths. Social media and the impact that it has on our offspring and our kids. I know both of you have kids. You have a 1-year-old. You have 3 boys at home.
I do.
So I'm not sure what are your policies when it comes to social media usage or digital or device usage to your kids. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you handle that with your 1-year-old. I know still very young.
Yeah.
Maybe your 1-year-old has not even touched a device yet.
Oh gosh, he's already touched the device. It's quite hard to avoid, I will admit, because we work from our phones and we are on it. Admittedly, even while I'm nursing, I've been on it, you know, the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I know that is something that we're also figuring out. As a new mom, I'm trying to figure out how do we do that as he starts to become more aware when it comes to hygiene of the phone use, right? But he's also at the age where language is coming. He's starting to communicate and he is starting to show interest in screens and like big screens. For me, like, I'm never going to shame, I'm never going to put any guilt on parents. I understand everybody's circumstance is different. Sometimes you're in the thick of it and you've got things that you have to get done. You're like, you have to give them something so you can have just a little bit of time to go and complete a task.
As a
or
parent,
get to
I
it.
totally feel
Yeah,
absolutely.
yes. I'm never going to shame someone for that. For me at home, we are practicing intentional screen time. Like not showing many YouTube stuff on the small screen, sticking to it is on the TV, but very intentional with the content that is age appropriate for him, and limiting the amount of time, keeping boundaries and structure around it. We practice rules like no screens while we're eating, because that's sacred, that mealtime for connection, for communication, and I just don't want him to become reliant on the habit of having a screen to eat. And I've noticed that can build a bit of an unhealthy attachment to it. So
exactly.
That's what we're trying to do.
So you don't ban it 100% from your child, but you set rules and regulations, you know, your house rules around it.
Because I think it's unrealistic. Yeah. I think it's very unrealistic at the time that we are to avoid it completely.
Yeah. What about you, Nadia? Your boys are a lot bigger, but of course they are very tech savvy. The generation these days, the younger generation. How do you control it in your household?
But that's the thing. I mean, I've got a 19-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 9-year-old. So I've been in this business for quite some time. And I think I completely agree with Melissa just said. It does boil down to self-regulation at the house as well. We need to understand that these guys, they're digital natives. They're born into a world where they learn how to scroll before they learn how to tie their shoelaces, right? So I think for what we do at home is the fact that we don't make technology or devices like the bad guy, but we make sure that we are not giving it to them unsupervised. So when they're young, like your child, it is the curated content that they get from TV and for very short periods of time. But when they do have a lot more access to the internet, it is supervised. I do make use of technology. There's many safety and parental controls out there that we can opt for, and that has been working quite well with us. But I think the most important thing, and I would definitely recommend this to all the young parents as well, we need to have conversations with our kids
Yeah.
from a very young age about the things that they might be exposed to online, because you don't want them to be exposed to something online and then if they get in trouble, they don't come to us. You don't want to do that. You know, it has to be, they have to feel comfortable and
Yes.
safe to come and talk to us if they see anything age
100%.
inappropriate or harmful.
We don't want to make social media the bad guy, definitely. But what worries you most, Melissa, when it comes to the kind of pressure that social media puts on our young children today? I don't think it's just our children, it's also on us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think about when I grew up as a teenager, and I had a hard time enough navigating being a preteen, and I didn't have social media the way it is now. We were just entering into Facebook, but even then I felt body dysmorphia from the magazines that I was reading, and I was comparing that comparison that I felt was this need to want to grow up faster than I was at.
Yeah.
And that's so sad when I think about it. And I look back, I would have
Yeah.
told myself, like, slow down, you have the rest of your life to be mature and be old, right? So I think about what the kids are facing now, and they're facing a new plethora, a whole new universe, right? That's going to be at them. And what worries me is maybe not so much also the comparison, but it's also that they may be exposed to dangers, stranger dangers. They may be exposed to predators. They may be exposed to people that can come and manipulate them before a time that they are emotionally able to navigate that as well.
Precisely, that's the thing.
When we were young, we were still trying to build our identity or find our identity. And we used to be able to do that in a very safe, private platform or a very safe ecosystem. You would fall down, scrape your knee, you'd cry, you'd have tantrums, you get in trouble with your parents, but it's never broadcasted to the world. It's very, very much in a safe space. But right now we see children being under the spotlight, maybe out of their own accord, if their parents allow that, but sometimes parents are also exploiting children and making them kidfluencers and making content surrounding them. And I feel that that just removes privacy from children in a way that we've never seen before. And I think that's very hard, especially when they grow older and they start constructing the identity out from outwards, meaning that they see their self-worth through the quantitative metrics of views and likes and shares rather than the qualitative metrics of being kind and having empathy, etc. So I really worry about not just children being exposed to content online, but the kind of values that we're getting them used to.
The values, but also the psychological exposure or effects that
That's
it
right.
has. We'll go more into that right after this, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere on social media and our youth. Welcome back to Women Talk, where we are talking about social media and also its impact on our youth. Now, Nadia, what do you think about the age restriction that we're looking into? Okay, so kids under the age of 16 will not have access to social media anymore. It won't be the case like how it is right now, you know? It's very easy for them.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I think it all boils down to the fact that governments all around the world are seeing the harmful effects of children being on social media too early. And they're trying to find a way to help parents to self-regulate, because we've been relying on parents quite a bit to do everything to make sure that their kids are not exposed. And I think governments are now looking at how do we make it a law or regulation that the children are not exposed to social media. Now, my concern would be the fact that if it's an outright ban, what we would probably encounter are children who would not be exposed to the social media harms and risk until they reach 16, and then we let them go and they haven't been guided through the whole process. I would encourage, or I would recommend this 16-year-old restriction with caveats. I think parents should still hold their kids' hands throughout the journey of being online.
Yeah.
They need to know what grooming looks like. They need to have conversations about what kind of content they shouldn't be putting out there. They need to know that there are scams that they might fall for, because children and teenagers do fall for scams. So I feel that just like how we put our kids out into the world, you're going to send your kid to school and then you're going to teach them, you know, how to cross the road safely, how not to speak to strangers. You need to go to an adult if you see someone who has something harmful happens to you. That same kind of lessons need to be taught and guided to children for their online space as well. Yeah, so that's something I'm very much looking forward to, how Malaysia is going to adapt these regulations to each household.
I know that it's very, very new still in Australia, but what are your observations thus far?
I think, from what I've read, of course the teenagers are not happy, especially the ones who have been on social media since forever.
Yeah. Sometimes they say, it's their life.
Exactly. But I have also seen, how, we've been teenagers before. We know how to circumvent rules when we have to. So I think a lot of teenagers have found backdoor ways to get back on social media. But I do understand the message that we're trying to put out there. It's not just targeting the people who are teenagers now, but we want to have a cultural shift about children and social media for children of the future. So at least parents and guardians know, okay, there's something wrong with social media that we should be wary of. Then maybe the younger generation of parents are a little bit more careful than the parents of before.
Cultural shift. That is a paradigm shift,
Yes.
a mindset shift, which of course doesn't take overnight. It will take years to develop and to be inculcated into our society.
Correct.
Okay, whether we go for the restriction or not, Melissa, how do you think parents and educators can help prepare children emotionally before they actually start using social media?
I thought that was a great point. And I didn't realize, it's also a culture shift, so parents realize. Because you're right, it's not going to start. The children are going to be up in arms about it. They'll find their ways, but it's suddenly an alarm for parents because I think that some parents have been, I don't say ignorant's the right word. My father was not tech savvy. He didn't know, we didn't know what we were getting on and doing, right? But having conversations with friends, our own, right, or other parents, what we're going through, I think sometimes that's wonderful to have a community of other moms so we can chat about this, so we can stay diligent and be on top of what's going on. And also, I think it really, really starts from at home, because at the end of the day, the kids are going to get around it. But if they feel comfortable enough to come to you and have that open conversation with you, I think that's really important, because it starts from the home, building that secure attachment. And for me, that starts already now.
Yes.
There's a little bit of trying to break the cycle for me. It's making sure that the language that we are very, very conscious about, the vocabulary we use around them, not using the shame, not using shame when it comes to discipline, telling them that we're proud of them. So hopefully they build this secure attachment and confidence in their offline world, that they're not going online to seek validation or to hide away from us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're not joking when you say they will find their backdoor ways to get around things, because even when it comes to the usage of technology, they know better than us. They pick up on things much more quickly than us. So sometimes, it's not something that we can fully control.
Correct. I'm sorry, parents just have a lot of responsibility these days. They're really tough. But digital literacy is just one of those things that you need to teach children, because they're going to be online. We need to prepare them for it. And I think it's also important for us to also have, when we talk about online harms, we talk about, we're worried about grooming, we're worried about cyberbullying, we're worried about all sorts of things. And some of these topics are naturally taboo in households, especially Asian households. But parents must move beyond the discomfort of talking about these things with their children, because once they're online, you're going to have these conversations about these taboo topics with people who are not you.
Yes.
Right, and you fear that they're going to be making friends with friends who might not know better, or even adults who are going to be exploiting them. So again, conversations need to happen, and the fact that digital literacy is now being a key component of a lot of the work that MCMC is doing with their campaign Internet Selamat, and then we've got even companies, a lot of telco companies, broadcasters, they're all doing CSR work pushing for digital literacy, because it's always very important. And I think the next step is AI literacy, because we are seeing that as a potential risk as well. We already see teenagers and children having relationships with AI companions and not knowing the difference between actual friends and AI. So beyond digital literacy, we're moving to AI literacy. So it is an ongoing process for all of us.
What about you, Melissa? What kind of strategies? I know your 1-year-old is still very young, but how do you keep your young one safe while online?
I think about this all the time. I'm thinking about, when would I allow a smartphone? How are we going to navigate that as well when it comes to communication and safety? I'm thinking at what point. And I try to read studies and I try to do that, and then I scare myself. There's always new stuff that comes in, right? I know there's no real right way, but it's also going to other parents like, you experienced 3 kids already and grown up, and of course, seeing what works for your family, but I'm still figuring that out. But I'm also part of I'm trying to delay as much as possible.
I agree with that completely.
And I know it's like,
Don't worry, Melissa. I think a lot of us
yes.
can relate to what you're saying,
I've got
and
3
they're
kids.
in the same position.
For my 3 boys, the first one was exposed a lot earlier. So the second one is later, and the third one, no device for now.
No device.
So,
How is that going?
He's 9. Okay.
He's
I
9.
mean, it's not like no device entirely, but it's supervised, device with screen time, and I'm there navigating with it. You play Roblox, I'll play it with you, just to see what's going on inside.
As parents, we're always trying to find the best ways.
That's
Maybe
right.
sometimes there's no definite answer. We'll be right back after the break. We have more to talk about on social media. Welcome back to Women Talk, where we are talking about social media and whether we are losing our youth because of it. Well, with our guests, we did establish that screen time has been a huge source of guilt for us parents. We can't help it, but we're trying our best. In what ways do you think platforms should take children's well-being more seriously? There should be more safety tools available, perhaps?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter is that platforms, it's really within their control to make sure that, for example, children are not being pushed content that they shouldn't be watching or consuming, because the technology is there, the algorithms are working for platforms to push ads that are personalized for us. So I'm sure there's a way for them to make sure that the algorithms can also protect and safeguard children. Similarly, I do believe that with technology being more and more evolved and developing over time, safety by design needs to be the gold standard. It should be by default, whatever app, whatever technology, by default, the design is safe for children. And then you age gate to more adult content or more adult features as it goes. But that's one thing that I think platforms should do. And another thing is when we talk about something more serious like child sexual abuse materials, that kind of content is definitely something that platforms need to help us out in taking it down as fast as they can. Because that kind of content can lead to really long-term effects and negative impact on the children forever.
A lot of cyber bullying going on. Sexual predators are lurking online. And the bullying happens not only among strangers, but also even among their friends. So how worried are you?
Look, I'm definitely, it's a concern. It's a concern. I wouldn't say I'm like, so because it's going to, I think it's going to happen whether they're at school or whether they're at home. That's why for me, it's really focusing about my presence and how I show up for him. What I can do now when he's a year and a half, the content that he's watching, I screen through it. I will watch the content and find it very appropriate, and then I will be intentional with showing him that. When it comes to down the line bullying, I just hope I would raise a boy that's kind, so he has an empathy. And
it starts from home, doesn't it?
It starts from home.
That's always the case.
To build that self-reliance and that. So.
Yes. So whatever life throws at you, whatever they are exposed to, they know what's true. And they know how to stay authentic.
I think the youth are very resilient. I also think they're very adaptable as well. And they're doing things that we didn't do in our youth. I feel like the youth are a lot more woke than we were. They know about politics, they know about rights. So, no, we have not lost the youth. I think it's really something that if we all work together, from the regulators to the platforms to the parents and youth themselves, if we look at how to collaborate to make the whole ecosystem better rather than to point fingers and say who's to blame, the youth we don't have to save them from anything. I think the only point is we need to make sure that they are on the right path, that they don't go to the depths of despair that we seem to think is out there. And I think we're doing the right thing in having the features in, the safety in, the digital literacy, and having conversations like the ones that we're having with you.
They are woke. They are definitely a more woke generation. But we've always been hearing about the comparisons that we're making, between millennials, Gen Z, and now the upcoming Gen Alphas. And, don't you think social media, like whether we like it or not, it is shaping who they are.
It is,
shaping how they think, they live, work, and play.
I guess. But for me, I feel that this whole categorization by generation can be a little. We kind of rely on it a little bit too much. I do know a lot of Gen Alphas or even millennials who have a very boomer mindset, but they're not boomer age. So there are also a lot of boomers out there who are very hip and happening and very young. So it really does depend, I think. And I feel that we can all benefit from having less categorization or less othering than what we continue to do. I feel like the Gen Zs get a lot of flack the way millennials had a lot of flack before. And I have a feeling Gen Alpha is not going to be spared either. But I do think that if we have this cultural shift into making sure that we're all here for the same thing, which is to protect people, vulnerable communities, and children from harm. And if we all work together on that, that's great.
So, as parents, as caregivers, as people, as those who just want to protect our next generation, what is your final message to our audience out there?
I guess it's for me would be for new moms. It'll be for new moms. I think one of the most wonderful things that I've experienced at the same time becoming a new mom at the beginning can feel really lonely, but then what came through was this beautiful community of moms who've stepped up to support me. I have now these close friends that I get to have these conversations with. So I think, like you said, it's not all not doom and gloom.
Yeah.
We are heading in the right direction. Yeah. I think have these conversations. Have these conversations when you're struggling and you're going through all this stuff. Have conversations at the same time. I never want to shame someone. I never want to make you feel guilty about your screen use, but I do think that do your due diligence, do your research, find out what works for your family, and there's always time to course correct.
Yes. And guess what? Do you know how these communities are built? Through social media.
Right. Precisely. Yes.
Nadia, what about you?
Same thing. I do believe that having conversations like this is very important among all of us, parents and guardians, and also with the platforms and the regulators. We all need to understand that we're not each other's enemy. The enemy out there isn't the platform, it isn't the government, it isn't Gen Z or Gen Alpha, it isn't the parents. All of us all have the same objective to make sure that the content ecosystem online is safe for everyone. And we all hold a responsibility and a duty to do what we can within our own circle of influence to make sure that it is.
All right. Thank you so much to Mediha and Melissa for this very enlightening conversation. There's a lot that we can go on and on about because social media is a lot.
Yes.
But thank you for giving us and sharing us your personal experiences and your thoughts as well on how we can do better for our younger ones. Thank you. Now, maybe we don't have all the answers, and that is totally okay because the youth will always be online whether we like it or not, and it is up to us to help guide them through. All right, now don't forget to follow us on social media at Women Talk TV3 and TV3 Malaysia. I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for watching this episode. And yes, please help our young ones stay safe while online. See you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.